Hello and welcome to the news on Canal International. We're coming you live from our studios in central Douala. First, the headlines bearing the vocal insignia of Kejang Henry Atembe.
After procrastination and with pressure from the Bretton Woods institution, prices of petroleum products have finally been increased in pumping stations in Cameroon. The price increase takes effect as from midnight February 1, 2023. 5 Cameroonian suspected kidnappers hemmed in the Adamawa state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria after a flop attempt to execute their plans to abduct a resident of Jambutu in the Yola local government area. And leaked information from Yaoundé reveals Nigeria is planning to retake the Bakassi Peninsula from Cameroon despite the historic 2006 Green Tree Agreement, which officially transferred the Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon following the 2002 International Court of Justice ruling. The 6:15 news rolls out in a jiffy with anchorman Ntarike Divine Ramsey Jr.
Thanks once again for tuning in. We start out with one of those lead stories in which you heard that the prices of fuel products across Cameroon have witnessed an uptick this January the 31st, 2023. In a meeting between the 4 concerned ministries, that's the Ministry of Mines and the Ministry of Transport, with transport trade unionists and other syndicate leaders in attendance, it was resolved that the price of super moves from 630 to 730 francs per litre, gas oil from 545 to 720 CFA francs per litre, kerosene and cooking gas remain unchanged, 350 francs per litre and 6,500 francs respectively. This comes alongside a 5.5% increase in the salaries of civil servants and the minimum wage moving from 36,000 to 41,875 CFA francs. We're going to be having developments on these and other related issues as we move on in this edition of the news. But right now, I'm flanked in our studios in Douala by our economy desk head. She's called Gladys Ambo Dibang. Welcome, Gladys.
Thank you, Divine.
This was foreseeable.
Oh, yes. You know, Cameroonians, I think most of them, some would be surprised, others would really be surprised. But then you have to remember that from the moment government decided to cut fuel subsidies by half, it was imminent that there was going to be fuel increase. You know, Cameroon in 2002 or 2022 spent about close to 800 billion CFA francs just to subsidize fuel in Cameroon. And they decided, with pressures from the International Monetary Fund, it decided to cut subsidies. It announced it will cut subsidies by half, that is by 350 billion francs CFA. And such, it was just imminent that it was just sure that Cameroon was going to notice a fuel increase in the days ahead, and this is exactly what we are getting today. So you see a price increase is by 100 for super, that moves from 630 francs CFA to 730 CFA francs, and then we have that for diesel that moved from 545 francs CFA to 720 francs CFA. But we have domestic gas that maintains its price, 6,500 francs for a 12 kilograms bottle, and then the gas bottle. Then we have a kerosene that equally maintains its price at 350 francs CFA, simply because government will still be subsidizing fuel.
I noticed that somewhere along the line you mentioned the fact that this is coming after pressure upon pressure from the Bretton Woods institutions. But what is going to be the immediate impact on the ordinary Cameroonian?
Exactly, Divine, it is really going to impact the ordinary Cameroonian because as from midnight today,
January
31, especially as the fuel prices will be implemented, automatically we will find prices of almost everything will increase. We'll have transportation, for example. Don't be surprised that tomorrow taxi drivers will probably be asking more. Instead of 250 CFA francs for certain destination, they might be asking more. For those who will be traveling out of town, interurban transportation might equally increase. We will equally have even prices of certain goods because, as it is said, energy or economy is energy transformed. So the processing, even the processing companies will have to increase almost everything because they use fuel. In almost every sector, they use fuel. So we will have the ordinary Cameroonian that will suffer from that because, as it was equally mentioned, that there is an increase in salary.
I was just going to ask you, there's a pushing, there were speed breaks from the part of the government, a 5.5% increase in civil servant salaries.
Exactly, 5.2%. Cameroonians had been expecting that, especially as there had been an inflation for the past years. Last year, we witnessed a 6% inflation rate, and we have the IMF that is saying that that will equally be maintained this year. So, a 5.2% increase in civil servant salaries has nothing to do with the common man. In this case, we have just a civil servant that might benefit. You see, we equally have the minimum wage that will move from 36,000 CFA francs to 41,850 francs CFA. Right. So you see that it is only a group of people. And how many civil servants do we have in Cameroon? Right. They are just about 300,000 that we have. So you see, we have a majority of Cameroonians that will suffer from the fuel increase.
I want to thank you sincerely for coming, Gladys Ambo-Diba.
Thank you so much, Ivan.
She's our economy desk chief, and that's why we brought her on now to start throwing some light on the impacts and the consequences to be expected from the increase and the uptick in the prices of petroleum products across Cameroon, pronounced this January 31. Now let's move on to something else. Is the Nigerian Army planning an operation against Cameroon? Well, that's the big question flapping the lips of observers. We are now in possession of information, of course, leaked information that indicates in the affirmative that the circulation of leaked security information to the regards there is a missive from the high authorities at the Ministry of, at the National Agency for Security, that's the police force. The delegation in charge of security across Cameroon is warning that in the southwest region, there should be heightened surveillance because Nigeria is preparing to attack and take over the Bakassi Peninsula. The offensive is expected to be enacted this February and 2 weeks before the awaited presidential election in Nigeria slated for February 25. The initial targets, as we learn, will be Kombo Abedimo, Kombo Etindi, and Aida Bato, which will be invaded and then renamed. In fact, we have further learned that in early January this year, a mild altercation between the armies of Cameroon and Nigeria was registered in the same area. Arrested and thrown behind bars at a locality called Jambuto, that's in the Adamawa state of Nigeria.
Police in Nigeria's Adamawa state say they have arrested 5 Cameroonians suspected to be involved in an attempt to kidnap one Emmanuel Ebel, a resident of Jambutu in Yola local government's area. Spokesman of the police command, Suleiman Guroji, said the crime was foiled following reliable information received from a good Samaritan. The tip-off, he adds, led to the arrest of all the illegal immigrants. The suspects, all of Cameroonian nationality according to police, were reportedly arrested barely 20 minutes before they were to carry out their organized crime. Police officials in the state, which borders Cameroon, have vowed that they will not relent in their efforts to reduce crime in the area to the barest minimum. They are urging residents to always inform the police of the whereabouts of criminals and their accomplices.
Now, as each day fades into oblivion, journalists across Cameroon are asking when the truth will emerge on the identities of the killer of the Yaoundé-based journalist Martinez Zogo. An instruction bearing the signature of President Paul Biya has instructed the Secretariat of State for Defense to open investigations. Now, is this coming a little bit too late? Coming 5 days after the corpse of Martinez Zogo was discovered on the outskirts of Yaoundé? Hyacinth Chia has been going in search of some answers.
It is firm instructions for state in charge of the investigations and fish out the killers of Martinez Zogo. But the timing of the instructions strongly questioned by journalists.
Ça pourrait être une bonne nouvelle, du moment où on sait que c'est le chef de l'État lui-même en personne qui prescrit.
It could be good news given that the instructions are coming from the head of state. But it is January 27. We are asking questions. For a crime of this nature, starting investigations 5 days after, it is surprising.
Non, c'est quand même surprenant.
The silence of those in charge that has prompted the intervention of the President of the Republic is raising eyebrows. If nothing was done before January 27th, I think it is proof that there is a fishy game going on, and the President is stepping in to break such networks. Let's hope it yields results. And where is the State's Council, who by right is supposed to be spearheading the search and justice process?
On se serait attendu que ce soit par exemple le procureur.
We have been waiting for the State Council to communicate on the evolution of the investigations, to inform national and the international community, and most especially reassuring that the perpetrators will not go unpunished.
Ne restera pas impuni.
While waiting, the family is in darkness, uninformed, sad and frustrated, not knowing where to go, nor who to address. But justice remains the word on every lip.
Now, activities intended to spice up the commemoration of this year's National Bilingualism Day have been rolled out countrywide. Tonight and on the sidelines, we take interest on how the bilingual system of education is being implemented in Cameroon. Here's Beatrice Ngamo with a bilingual classroom experience.
Morning greetings by these class 1 pupils to their auntie, as they call them. With that, they know it is time for lessons in the English language. English like French, they understand and can speak well.
Lundi, le 30 janvier 2023, the 30th of January 2023.
Class 1 and 2 have teachers who interchange lesson days.
Maybe when she's taking English on Monday, I'm taking English in class 2. That same Monday in class 2, we change and go to the next class. That's how we are working. And on Friday is evaluation.
Cameroon's bilingual nature, what most parents see as an advantage for their children, but at times by force.
They should not be the one putting pressure on a child because it is very heavy. Even the notes and everything is very heavy. You need a child that is at least smart to do this section.
Option challenging, as most of the children are coming from either the English or French background, but gradually they make them to follow. Even when they make mistakes, they are corrected. Correct answers goes with this. No established program by the government at this level to that effect.
We try to use both documents from the Anglophone section and documents from the Francophone section. So we use 50-50. That's what we try to do.
Many others also follow the bilingual subsystem of education, while others are having English and French subsystems separately. The National Bilingualism Week launched this Monday under the theme Bilingualism, the Window to Culture and Technology Issues, a Human Capital Development Fund for the emergence of Cameroon.
Now, it generates considerable income for its growers and are making reference there to the cultivation of pepper. However, it is emerging that pepper consumption in large doses not only hurt the consumers, but can have severe consequences on the immediate environment. Here's Ndi Maureen with field reports from the Noon Division of Cameroon's West Region.
It's a completely green environment we met in Nun Division in the west region of Cameroon as we explore the procedure and cultivation of pepper in the division, described as a major agricultural hub. The path to the farm is narrow and swampy, but the farmers, mostly young men, are determined to apply modern techniques that would not destroy the ecosystem, which is already seriously threatened. Environmentalists have raised an alarm. It's an activity that has helped a lot of people to take care of their families. But again, we are cautioning them towards embracing a mechanized system of agriculture in order to protect the environment. So we are telling them not to completely destroy the forest, to conserve a portion and then farm on another portion. Despite the challenges that involves archaic cultivation methods and the absence of farm-to-market roads, pepper cultivation continues to attract more youths who are doing well in this sector. A bag of pepper, which used to cost 60,000 francs CFA, now costs 100,000 francs CFA. When yields are bountiful, a farmer can easily make 4 million francs CFA in a day after selling about 36 to 50 bags. I would say there is a treasure in Nun, which is the cultivation of pepper. We are calling on youths who are jobless and frustrated to regain their villages and embrace agriculture. A lot of their meats are making ends meet thanks to agriculture and thanks to cultivation of pepper. Imagine someone could sell 35 to 50 bags of pepper, which gives him automatically 4 million francs CFA. Traditional rulers are calling on jobless youths to regain their villages and engage in agriculture. Best move, they say, to completely arrest unemployment, which continues to frustrate so many youths. Nun Division in the West region is now known for the cultivation of pepper thanks to its fertile soil. The wish of the people is to transit to mechanized cultivation.
At about 35 minutes after the hour, we call it quits on this edition of the News in English on Canal International. More news coming your way at 1950 with Alain Ghislain Kanga, and of course, much more detail on the uptick in the price of petroleum products across Cameroon. That will be an angle for Lil Pijo and her guests when she comes up right after me in the debrief. See you tomorrow. Stay safe.
It is a very powerful delegation from the United Kingdom